Welcome to Hotline TV. I'm Quinn McCord.
And I'm John Mercurio. Okay, with Harry Reid holding senators at work over the weekend, both last weekend and this upcoming weekend, some politicians are not going to get their Christmas shopping done in time for the holidays. All right, so we here at Hotline TV thought that we would offer some suggestions to those desk-bound senators. Quinn McCord, thanks for joining us here on Hotline TV this week. Who are you going to come up with some suggestions for? Obviously, a lot of senators shopping for all sorts of politicians all over the country.
Well, if your Secret Santa gift is your job is to give a gift to John Cornyn, the NRC chair, what better gift could you give to him than North Dakota Senate candidate John Hoeven?
Interesting.
The current governor. I mean, let's face it. Senate recruiting season is pretty much done.
Sure.
You know, Mike Castle.
Had a pretty good recruiting season on the Republican side.
Republicans have a lot of good candidates, but really the only shoe left to drop is, will John Hoeven run against Byron Dorgan? And you know, I thought it'd fallen off the radar screen. I figured he's not going to run, but our colleague Amy Walter heard some news just recently that maybe Hoeven will run.
And there was a poll out just last week or the week before that showed that he was at least 10 or 12 points ahead of Dorgan, right?
I think so, but you know, I admit the polls are all over the place in that state.
Sure.
I mean, it's going to be tight down to the wire regardless. But you know,
he's the most popular governor in the country.
And increasing signs that 2010 will be a good year for Republicans. You know, Hoeven may figure this is the best opportunity if I want to, you know, leave the state, come to D.C. Why not now?
It's interesting. I think that, you know, it could have a big impact because Dorgan is sort of not undecided, but he's sort of part of the moderate centrist group on health care. I think that if he found out that he had a really tough race, a la Blanche Lincoln in Arkansas, you could see some real maneuvering going on for his vote on health care.
So you could.
So you could.
What else?
All right, I got another one. Down in Florida, another interesting Senate race we're watching closely. Marco Rubio, of course, gaining over the past several weeks, a couple months actually, on Charlie Crist, the Republican frontrunner, the governor for that open Senate seat. Marco Rubio is begging right now. If he's writing out his Dear Santa list, what he wants more than anything right now is former Governor Jeb Bush in his camp. He's got a lot of people from around this sort of the Jeb Bush circle. He's got actually, I think, some Jeb Bush Jr., I think that's correct, has endorsed already Marco Rubio. I think what you're going to see over the next couple of weeks and months is Jeb Bush, this is a very late primary, not until late August or September of 2010, you're going to see Jeb Bush watching the polls very closely. If Marco Rubio can get this race to within a 5 or a 6 point race, I bet you anything that Marco Rubio's Christmas wish is going to come true and Jeb Bush is going to get behind it.
Just to push him over the edge.
Just to push him over the edge. And I think, look, Jeb Bush, the most popular Republican in Florida, still very popular around the country, could do a lot, I think, to help Rubio gain credibility and could really push him past. He could give him the sort of establishment credibility that Rubio needs at this point.
Excellent. Well, you know, enough Senate races. Let's look at these governor's races. If you were buying for a governor, what would you do?
If I was buying for a governor, nobody needs a nice Christmas season, I think, more than, there's one governor in this country who's had a rough time. His name is David Paterson, of course, governor of New York, the sort of accidental governor. There were a lot of reports in September that the White House was trying to push him out of the race. He rejected their overtures, if you will, their gestures. And what Paterson needs more than anything right now from the Democratic Party, the National Democratic Party, is a dignified exit strategy. So if there was some way for Tim Kaine or Barack Obama or somebody on the national Democratic scene to offer this embattled, beleaguered, soon-to-be former governor a way out of his seat that didn't require him to be pushed out by Patrick Gaspard at the White House political office, I think he would really appreciate a little stocking stuffer along those lines.
Not that anyone wouldn't realize what was going on. There's probably no way to subtly get him out of the governor's race, but
well, you know, maybe he can run for Charlie Rangel's seat like everybody keeps talking about, or maybe he can, you know. Maybe you could run for Kirsten Gillibrand's seat.
Of course. Now, you know, I have to admit, I'm not above buying Christmas presents for myself. I mean, I've sent flowers for myself on Valentine's Day. I'm into that sort of thing.
That's sort of sad.
So if I was to buy a Christmas present for myself, it just might be Las Vegas Mayor Oscar Goodman running for the governorship of Nevada as an independent, a three-way race. Him, Rory Reid.
That's got a lot of good stuff in it.
And Republican, maybe Brian Sandoval, whatever. I mean, Jim Gibbons already makes an interesting race.
Right, it's a gift that keeps giving.
Yes.
These Nevada political people.
And the interesting thing, you know, when you look at the polls, I mean, Sandoval head-to-head is ahead of Roy Reid, but you know, Oscar Goodman kind of draws equally from both candidates.
That's shocking to me, though. He's got a Las Vegas base, which is really where all the Democratic votes in the state are. How how could he draw? And he's also sort of a wild, flamboyant Democrat at this point. How could he draw evenly from both parties?
That's a good question. I mean, I think that shows that Republicans are getting a lot of independents. Republicans are getting a lot of sort of random disenchanted voters that maybe could potentially Oscar Goodman voters too. I mean, also another thing I was thinking of is if Oscar Goodman runs and he jacks up the turnout in Las Vegas, in theory that might be a help to Harry Reid,
right?
Possibly.
Interesting, but not a help necessarily to his son.
Yeah, in the end, I mean, as I said, if you look at polls right now, it kind of equally hurts him. I have to believe, because of the reasons you said, that in the end, wouldn't Oscar Goodman hurt Roy Reid more than the Republican?
I have to think he would.
I would think so too.
All right. It's time for last words, and the last word is, Quinn, what are we talking? I mean, we're talking about all these other politicians and who's giving what to whom. What about what you and I will exchange in terms of Christmas holiday gifts this year?
Well, what do you have for me?
Well, I don't have it with me right here, but I want you to know that you will see under your Christmas tree this year the newest edition, the 2010 edition of the High School Musical calendar, which I know has been a big fan favorite of yours over the past several years. So and maybe even a Hannah Montana action doll.
And that's funny because I'm going to give to you a CD of me singing the greatest hits from High School Musical.
No, I thought you were going to give me something else.
Oh, actually, I do have, and mine is right here, actually.
Yeah.
I am now the proud sort of owner of this great T-shirt I won at last night's trivia contest hosted by The Fixes, Chris Cillizza.
You won, or the Hotline team won?
The Hotline team won, of course.
Me. And what was it called?
It was called Dick Sweat, after that great New Hampshire congressman.
Yes, indeed.
And in case you didn't know where this come from, Chris Cillizza's name is right here.
Oh, I've always wanted
prominently.
a T-shirt. I've always wanted a T-shirt with Chris Cillizza's name on it.
Well, now you have one.
That's so great.
There you go.
Thank you so much. It looks like a DC United
does. Wow.
sort of team.
That looks like a biker shirt. That's kind of a rough shirt.
It is rough. It's rough and tumble, just like us. All right, we're out of time for today. Merry Christmas. We'll see you next week, of course, before Christmas, but still, happy holidays. And thanks for watching Hotline TV.